General, materials and processes. What does the magnetic particle inspection basic process consist of? The basic process consists of magnetizing a part and then applying ferromatic particles to the surface area to be inspected. If a discontinuity defect is present, the particles will form a recognizable pattern on the surface. What non-destructive testing methods could be used for detecting surface cracks in aluminum fittings? Dye penetrant radiology, eddy current, ultrasonic testing, and visual inspection. What occurs during the preparation stages when penetrant inspection liquid is applied to and then removed from a part that is cracked? The penetrating liquid enters the crack and remains there in order to make the crack visible after developer is applied. What is the procedure for performing penetrant inspection? The steps are: clean the surface, apply penetrant, remove the penetrant with emulsifier or cleaner, dry the part, apply the developer, and inspect and interpret the results. How may AN standard steel bolts be identified? The AN bolts can be identified by the code markings on the bolt heads. What do the markings on the heads of solid shank rivets indicate? The material of which they are made of and their strength. How can the recommended torque for a bolt or nut be determined when the torque valves are not called out on the maintenance procedures? From the information contained in the standard torque table, what does the grip length of a bolt correspond to? The thickness of the material being fastened with the bolt. What may be accomplished to prevent heat-treated aluminum alloy rivets from becoming hard after the quenching sequence? The rivets may be stored in a refrigerator at a temperature lower than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. They will remain soft for several days. Where may self-locking nuts not be used? At joints which subject either the nut or bolt to rotation. What is the difference between a general purpose bolt and a close tolerance bolt? Close tolerance bolts are machined more accurately than general purpose bolts. What type of cable is commonly used in primary control systems? Extra flexible 7x9 stainless steel cable. How is work hardening obtained? By cold working metal. What width would a welding bead have, and what should be the depth of penetration in a butt weld? The bead width should be 3 to 5 times the thickness of the base metal and 100% penetration for a butt weld. What are the undesirable characteristics of a cold weld? A cold weld has improper penetration with rough and irregular cold laps, not feathered into the base metal. What are the penetration requirements for a fillet weld? A fillet weld should be 25 to 50% of the thickness of the base metal. What precision measuring instruments are used to measure outside dimensions? Outside micrometer calipers and vernier calipers. Why should a micrometer be periodically calibrated? Give at least one of these answers. Continually sliding objects between the anvil and the spindle may wear the surfaces. If it is dropped, its accuracy may be affected. If the spindle is over-tightened, the frame may be permanently sprung or bent. So I'll just give at least one of those answers. Why is alloy steel that is responsible to heat the treatment usually less suitable for welding? Because of its tendency to become brittle and lose its ductility in the welded area. What is the main difference between thermoplastic and thermosetting resins? Thermoplastic resins can be softened by heat and become hard again when cooled down. Thermosetting resins do not soften when heated and will char or burn rather than melt. What are some of the purposes for which thermoplastic and thermosetting resins are commonly used for modern aircraft? Thermoplastic acrylic, also known as plexiglass, is commonly used for windshields inside windows. Thermosetting resins are commonly used as the matrix material in composites. Name one material commonly used as the reinforcing component in structural composite laminates. Answers include aramid, also known as Kevlar, fiberglass, graphite, or also known as carbon. That's graphite fiber is what I meant to say. Let me repeat those. Aramid, also known as Kevlar, fiberglass, or graphite fiber. Name one substance commonly used as the matrix material in structural composite laminates. Polyester resin, epoxy resin. Name one advantage of using pre-impregnated materials in the construction of repair of composite components. Pre-preg fabric contains the proper amount of matrix. The reinforcing fibers are completely and evenly permeated with matrix. The matrix has the correct proportions of resin and hardener. Which NDT method can be performed without removing the surface coatings such as primer, paint, and anodized films, and it's effective in detecting surface and subsurface corrosion? eddy current inspection method. Which steel alloy is noted for its toughness and is most commonly used for aircraft tubular structure, such as frame members, engine mounts, landing gear parts, and other structural parts? Chrome molybdenum steel. Which case hardening process is accomplished on steel alloys after heat treating to proceed wear resistant surface on engine parts, such as crankshafts? Nitriding. What portable hardness tester is commonly used for testing aluminum alloys, copper, brass, or other relatively soft materials? Barcol tester. In what class of threaded fit are aircraft bolts commonly manufactured? Class 3 medium fit. Name at least 3 propellers of metals. Hardness, toughness, elasticity, ductility, malleability, strength, brittleness, fusibility, conductivity, thermal expansion. What is the term used that applies to the group of metals that has iron as its principal constituent? Ferrous. In the aluminum alloy 2XXX through 8XXX series, as in 2024-T3, what do the first digits indicate? The primary alloying element. Let's repeat that. In the aluminum alloy 2XXX through 8XXX series, as in 2024-T3, what do the first 3 digits indicate? The primary alloying element. The first digits indicate the primary alloying element. Name 2 types of hardness testers used on steel and other alloys such as aluminum. Rockwell, Brenell, and Barcol. What is the term used that applies to a combination of materials such as fiber, whisker, or particle surrounded and held in place by a resin forming a structure? Composite structure. What is another commonly known name for an aramid material? Kevlar. Name 4 advantages of composites. A big answer here. High strength to weight ratio. Fiber to fiber transfer of stress allowed by chemical bonding. Modulance 3.5 to 5 times that of steel or aluminum. Longer life than metals. Higher corrosion resistance. Tensile strength 4 to 6 times that of a steel or aluminum. Greater density flexible bonded corrosion. Eliminates joints or fasteners. Joints and fasteners, that is. Easily repairable. What are the 2 general types of self-locking nuts? All metal and fiber lock and or elastic stop nut. What are two basic types of washers? Plain, lock, and special. What hardware is used as a threaded bushing to repair threads? Helicoils. When referring to a standard torque chart, how can a 1/4 28 size bolt be defined? It is a 1/4 diameter bolt with a thread count of 28 threads per inch. A solid rivet's diameter is measured in what fractional increments? 1/32 of an inch. A solid rivet's length is measured in what fractional increment? 1/16 of an inch. The diameter of an AN standard steel bolt, as in the part marking AN3-5, again AN3-5, is measured in what fractional increment? 1/16 of an inch. The AN3 is 3/16 of an inch diameter bolt. The length of an AN steel bolt is, as in the part number, AN3-5 is measured in what fractional increment? 1/8 of an inch, because the AN3-5 is 5/8 of an inch bolt in length.